Expansion and factorization of algebraic expressions. So first we look at the expansion of algebraic expressions. The process of removing brackets from an algebraic expression and writing the result terms is called the expansion of algebraic expressions. Expansion. It's called expansion because like you have brackets here, right? But as you multiply out, you're going to see the terms become more. You get like more stuff, okay? So it's expanded out. The distributive laws of multiplication over division and subtraction are given below. So these are called the distributive laws of multiplication, okay? And it's done over addition. So the addition is here. But this distributive law is essentially a multiplication. So you can see that this a is multiplied to the x and the a is also multiplied to the y. Okay, that's because the x plus y is supposed to be added first, then the multiplication takes place. But we're going to expand it. That means we are going to give the a to the x and give the a to the y to be multiplied. And you're going to get the same result. So ax plus ay is the result here of the expansion. So if you have, instead of a plus here, you have a minus, then it's the same thing. You always draw these rainbow lines, I call them, and you have ax minus ay. Okay, so a times x minus a times y, and you have this result. If you have three terms, then it's the same thing, a times x plus a times y plus a times z. You just give the a to each of the terms and follow the signs, and you get this result here. Now in this case, the number that is multiplied to both x and y is negative a. So there's a negative sign here, which along with the a is going to be given to the x and y. So this negative a is given to the x, which means multiplied. So you have negative ax. Then you have the negative a that's given to the y, multiplied. And that's negative a times positive y. You have negative ay. Now notice that previously, before the expansion, this x here is positive, this y here is positive, okay? After multiplying by a negative number, both of them will change signs. Positive becomes negative. Positive x becomes negative ax. Positive y becomes negative ay. And it's the same thing here. You have a negative a times the x. You have negative ax. Then you have the negative a times the negative y. Negative times negative is positive, okay? Which is why you have a positive here, ay. But this ax is negative, okay? Example 1, expansion of algebraic expressions. So here we have to expand each of the following. Part A, 3 times 2b minus 5a. So the 3 here is going to be multiplied into the 2b and also into the negative 5a. So you recognize that this is a 2b, first term, and a negative 5a in the second term, right? Okay, so here we go. 3 times 2 is 6, then there's a b here. And then the 3 times negative 5 is negative. Okay, take care of this negative sign. Positive times negative is negative. 3 times 5 is 15. And then you have a. Alright, and that's it. Part B. Negative 9 times 7b plus 6a. Okay, so here you see negative 9 times 7b. This is multiplied to the 7b. Negative times positive is negative. 9 times 7 is 63, and then you have the b. So we consider each part separately, alright? So we have the sign, and then we have the 9 times 7, and we have the letters. So that's negative 63b. Then we have negative 9 times positive 6a, and we get negative again, negative positive is negative, so I'm going to have negative. 9 times 6 is 54, and then you have the a. C, negative 5p times p plus 2q minus 3r. One thing you must know is that in this kind of questions, the most common mistakes is with the plus minus sign. Okay, so it's useful that you check before the multiplication you have a positive p, positive q, negative 3r. So after the multiplication, you can expect to see that all the signs change. So this positive is going to become negative. Positive becomes negative, negative becomes positive, okay? When you have this in mind, you can check just for the signs and just going to take like less than 3 seconds. Okay, so let's have a look. Negative 5p times p, pp is p squared, okay? Negative 5p squared. Negative times positive is negative. 5 times 2 is 10. P times Q is PQ. Then you have the third term, which is negative times negative is positive. 5 times 3 is 15. P times R is PR. Alright. Part D. Here we have outside the brackets a fraction. Now, in algebra, we always have fractions. Alright. Fractions and algebra always go hand in hand. More with fractions than with decimals. So you got to get used to this. 1/2 times 4a minus 2b minus 7c. So this half is multiplied to the 4. Half times 4, you can do mental calculations. If you can do that, it's going to be much better than if you have to press calculator every time. Okay, so half times 4 is 2. And you have a here, so it's 2a. Half times negative 2b is negative. Half times 2 is 1, right? So you can write 1b, but we normally just write a b, okay? Half times negative 7c is negative again. 7c over 2. This is how we write it. So you can write this as negative 7c over 2 or as negative 7 over 2c. So this c is outside the fraction, but we understand it as a numerator. Okay. So this is like 7 times of c but divided by 2. This is 7 over 2 times of c. Okay, essentially it's the same thing. Part E. 6x minus 2 square bracket 2x minus 3 bracket 5 minus x. Close the bracket and square bracket. You see, we deal with whatever is in the bracket first and then outside the bracket last. This 6x has to go last, so I'm going to leave it first. And this is the outer bracket, this is inner bracket, right? We always deal with the inner bracket first. So I'm going to leave this alone. So we have a 2x here minus, okay, this is where we're going to expand. We're going to expand this. We're going to multiply in this negative 3 to the 5 and the negative 3 into the negative x. So these are the blocks, the pieces of algebra that is going to be interacting. Negative 3 times 5 is a negative 15, right? So negative times 5, negative 15. And we have this, negative 15. Then we have negative 3 times negative x is a positive 3x. Okay, one of the greatest concerns that I always have with students is that, I don't know, somehow the positive and negative signs are not written down after the expansion. This shouldn't be. There should always be signs except for the first term if it's positive. Okay, that's the only exception. Alright, so if you look here, you can see that this negative 2 here is multiplied into whatever is in this bracket here. Yeah, so let's do the multiplication again. 6x, let's leave it alone for now. And over here, you see this negative 2 multiplied to the 2x, then to the negative 15, and then to the 3x. Okay, but wait a minute. This is 2x, this is positive 3x, they are like terms, right? So we should simplify them first. Now, if you multiply first, it's not wrong, but then it's going to make it a lot easier if you simplify first. And so I don't multiply first, I leave the 2 here, square brackets. 2x plus 3x is 5x minus 15. Okay, now we multiply, right? So we have negative 2 that's multiplied to the 5x, negative 2 that's multiplied to the negative 15. Okay, so here you have 6x minus negative 2 times 5 is 10, and then you have an x here. Negative times negative is positive. 2 times 15 is 30. One last step, we just simplify this and then we are good. So we have 6 minus 10 is negative 4x plus 30. Yeah, that's your answer. Part F, 5x minus curve brackets 2y minus square brackets 3 bracket x plus 2y minus 4 bracket 3y minus x close bracket and close bracket. Okay, so this is quite a complicated question. There's always a possibility that you copy this incorrectly, right? So you check again. 5x minus bracket 2y minus bracket 3 bracket x plus 2y minus 4 close bracket 3y minus x close. Okay, Now, it's always the earlier steps that is the most risky because we're dealing with a lot of brackets here, a lot of plus and minus sign. And we see in the square brackets we have these round brackets here. This is something I'm going to deal with first. And this chunk is a separate chunk, right? So we can deal with this independently in the same step, okay? This 5x, leave it alone, minus curve brackets, leave it alone, 2y minus square brackets. Okay, nothing changes from here to here. And over here, we're going to multiply in. So we have 3 times x, 3 times 2y. 3 times x is 3x. Plus 3 times 2y is 6y. Negative 4 times 3. Okay, watch out always for this negative sign. Okay, whenever you have a negative sign that's multiplied into a bracket, this is something that you have to pay attention to, okay? Yeah, because this is always where the mistake is. If you're not watching it, then this negative sign typically gets multiplied to the first term, but then you'll forget the second one, okay? So always remind yourself that all the signs of the terms change. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12y. Negative is positive 4x. Okay, we have this whole chunk here that has got no brackets that can be easily simplified. So let's do that. Okay, so we have 3 plus 4 is 7x. 6y minus 12y is negative 6y. Okay, we simplify this again because this negative sign is given inside, right? Well, we can do it in one step. If you can see that this 2y is going to minus a negative 6y. Minus negative is a plus, right? So I'm going to do a bit of skip steps here. 5x minus, okay, I'm going to keep this round bracket still, but I'll just write it as a curved bracket now, normal bracket, with 8y in there because it's 2y minus negative 6y. Minus negative is plus, so 2 plus 6 is 8y. This minus give to the x is just a minus, okay? So minus 7x. Yep. So from here, we can see that 5 minus negative x minus negative is a plus. So if you look at the x first, okay, you have 5 minus negative 7, which is 12x. Then you look at the y's, negative 8y. Yep, and that's it. Okay? Okay, you give it a try. Skipping step is something that is dependent on each individual student. Some of you can do it comfortably, but that's through a lot of practice and a lot of learning to do your mental calculations. If you haven't been doing your mental calculations right, then probably you shouldn't skip, okay? Yeah, it really depends on you. So if you feel comfortable doing it and you do it correctly, most of the times at least, then you can do this skipping step, okay? If not, then it's okay. Just take more steps to do it until you're comfortable, and then you can go on and skip that. Share with me what questions you have in the comment section below. Please like this video if you have enjoyed it, hit the bell button and subscribe. Thanks and see you in the next video.